Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It is you're staring into the abyss and into the reality at this point in time because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on February 22, your golden period, the golden dawn that Indian cricket was going through is over because for the first time since the semi-final of Adelaide 2022, when India outright lost by 10 wickets, you then went on to go undefeated in the T20 World Cup of 2024. One game was abandoned out of that 9 games, which was the Canada game at Lauderhill. You won 3 and then you won the Super 6 and then you won this. Then you won 4 straight in the 2024 T20 World Cup, but 2026 T20 World Cup. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we have suffered our first loss ever since Adelaide. 111 in a chase of 188. You have lost by 76 runs. Shivam Dube, 42 of 37, seemed to be the only bright spot. But Corbin Bosch, Keshav Maharaj, Marco Jansen, Aiden Markram, the plan that South Africa put in and executed ensured that India would have to suffer a huge catastrophic loss. 76 runs. Remember, the first game today saw a 51-run loss. Second game has seen a 76-run loss. Yes, losses have happened. During India's dominant phase, losses have happened. You haven't clean swept anybody. You lost to South Africa not once, not twice, but now 3 times. You lost to New Zealand once. You lost to Australia once. But you're now in that thin ice period, my friends, because the next 2 games assume massive importance. And now suddenly we thought Group Y was tricky. It's Group X. X is even more trickier now because West Indies, Zimbabwe and South Africa are all baying for blood. And West Indies managed to win 2 games. South Africa win 2 games. India win 2 games or even 1 game. In the space of 2 games, a glorious building that was constructed from June 2024, 29th, it will come crashing down. And a lot of things to discuss about, especially Suryakumar Yadav's tactics with the bat, his cockiness. Now the Indian team's cockiness has been exposed. The tactic to bench Akshar Patel, a genuine bona fide match winner. South Africa didn't play for the matchups. They played to win. With Keshav Maharaj getting a couple of left-handers also, if I'm not mistaken. He got Rinku Singh out cheaply.
He got Arshdeep Singh out. Okay. Let us begin, Shane, and I'm not going to pull any punches. If I have hailed India for winning, I will also blame India for the losing bit. I will never have that extreme. Oh, let us just brush it under the carpet. Okay?
And
Siddharth, right now, there's no time to brush it under the carpet. It's the first game of the Super 8 and we were debating, I remember, because we were talking about England inflicting such a heavy loss on Sri Lanka that it practically makes their chances of a comeback much tougher in the coming games. Well, South Africa have only gone and inflicted an even bigger loss run-wise, which is going to hit you hard. Both teams, by the way, have struggled with chases, albeit in very different locations. One was in Kandy, one was in Ahmedabad, but the end result has been the same. Neither team was able to construct a chase. And I think if you're looking at it from India's perspective, it's always been a case of, look, you're going to be playing attacking cricket, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. But today was a case of not just dying by the sword. I will question game awareness. I don't think 188 was a massive total. I've seen this team chase down bigger. You've lost a couple of early wickets. Surely you can take a little bit of time to actually stabilize before then going for broke. Instead, you have reached a point where you lost Ishan and you lost Tilak. After that, Abhishek did try and up the ante a little bit. But after that, he went. Washington Sundar went. And it reached a point where you had half the side in the hut before the 10th over. In fact, in the 10th over, 9.2 I think was when Suryakumar Yadav was dismissed. And 9.1, yeah. 9.1, that was in the start of the 10th over, half your side's in the hut. I don't care if you bat till 8. If you've lost 5 batters, from there on out, you're doing absolutely nothing. And when Hardik Pandya, and I think it was Shivam Dube who was at the crease with him, were knocking it around, I'm like, okay, they are doing what 2 partnerships earlier should have been done. You needed to take the smart call and say, listen, we've not got too many runs to score also. If you keep wickets in hand, you force the opposition into mistakes, maybe, just maybe, we can make a match out of this. But they said, no, we're going to keep playing the same way. And when you lost wickets against a confident bowling unit, that's it. Match was over after 9.1 overs.
17-game winning streak in all ICC events that stretched from 2023. 24 you were unbeaten in 8 out of the 9. Then 5 you had in the Champions Trophy. 4 that you've got now in the T20 World Cup has now come to a spectacular end because of this one-sided shellacking that has taken place. And it is a shellacking. And today, of all the days today, in front of over 1 lakh people, India's cockiness and our arrogance has been shredded to pieces. We cannot be arrogant anymore, we cannot be cocky anymore. And I myself acknowledge the mistake of saying that, oh, India versus who? We had built it up because the Indian team had built such great momentum. Thank you, South Africa. Thank you for ensuring कि घमंड टूट गया. Thankfully, yes, it is not the end of the World Cup. India can still go on and win the tournament, can create history. But there is no place for arrogance in this format anymore and in this tournament. Chennai and Kolkata are going to be the places where either you step up or you are shipped out. And today, let me begin. We'll go in descending order of the farce that happened. Farce number 1. In my entire history, I don't think Rinku Singh is a bad batter than Washington Sundar. Okay? What was the logic of pushing a Washington Sundar ahead of a Rinku Singh when Rinku is a much established batter?
See, I'll give you a basic logic there. Washington has batted well at 3 or 4 in this very ground for his IPL franchise, GT. That was one thought process. But today, he clearly looked out of sorts. And I dare say he looked exactly like how I would expect a player to look when they're coming back from a long injury layoff. I don't blame them for promoting him there. I will, however, talk about why is it that you didn't send a Dube. Why did you not send a Dube at number 4? What was the point of trying to send Washington Sundar ahead of Shivam Dube? What was the logic? I don't know. Are you that concerned about the fact that Dube can't play pacers? He was hitting, what's his name?
Marco Jansen, Kagiso Rabada.
Rabada. He took Rabada for a couple of boundaries. He can play him fine. What is the logic? Why would you promote a Sundar over a Dube? I would understand, by the way, if you had an Akshar Patel, because Akshar is a much better batter than Washington, and Washington has improved leaps and bounds. But Akshar is clearly the better bat, the better bowler, and therefore the better all-rounder. So you decided to do or use Washington in the Akshar floater role, whilst not actually confirming that he actually has the skill set to perform that sort of a role. And the fact is, in my opinion, I don't think he does. So the thought process was that you used an IPL precedence, which I dare say is a bit of a change, because in the IPL, this pitch is far more batter friendly, far more batter friendly. Today, it was a bit of a tricky pitch. You saw the way the South African bowlers were bowling. They were looking to play the cutters. They were looking to deny space. And when that happened, the pitch actually seemed to be looking slow at times.
Plus, when you look at it, South Africa also had a bad start in the power play. They lost 3 wickets for 41.
Correct.
But India lost far more wickets.
Correct.
That was the key difference. And you see, you're citing an IPL precedence, right? But when is the IPL played? March to May. Conditions in Ahmedabad are totally different. Pitches are totally different.
Pitches that
and
time. And
quality of batters and bowlers are different.
And remember, at that point in time, the pitches control remains with the ICC, who want that the pitches stay flatter so that you have high scoring games. The ICC has taken a different approach in this tournament. They've said, no, let's try and keep the matches competitive. So that's why I had said 180 odd could be a competitive total. It won't be an easy chase. Even when we were predicting a win, you said it'll be the last ball, I said it'll be the penultimate ball. You know full well that this was not going to be an easy chase. You needed to bat through. You needed to ensure that you played smartly, that sometimes you look to milk the 1s and 2s and keep the strike rotation so that you can ensure that the scoreboard keeps ticking on. You didn't try to do any of that. One note, bang, bang. That's what we criticized baseball for. We were playing exactly the same way today.
Yep. Which is why the precedence of pushing a Washington Sundar at 4 ahead of a Dube and a Rinku Singh, I don't know what the management was thinking today. It completely and spectacularly backfired. And it backfired even more because two farces. One, India falling hook, line and sinker into the trap that South Africa set when they opened with Aiden Markram. We anticipated it was a ploy for Ishan or Abhishek. It was a ploy for Abhishek. But we didn't anticipate that Ishan would fall into the trap. Delivery that drifted away, he just went for it. A catch was taken. But Tilak, what was Tilak doing?
Tilak
He
was a double
clearly
whammy.
edged a ball that was heard not from Motera to Gandhinagar, but then he said, I don't know, I'm taking a review. It was a clear-cut deflection that took place and it's not a minute spike, it's a big spike.
It's a fairly big spike.
Fairly big spike.
I mean,
And
we
then
could hear it live.
we could hear it live. What were they thinking? What was the Indian cricket team thinking? I mean, Ishan Kishan, okay, he plays in that particular way, but in these kind of situations, isn't it better that you first get off the mark?
It's also, it exposes one thing which I've long believed about Indian batters at times. We don't quite know how to play spin anymore. It's not that they can't hit spinners or score off them, but Markram was bowling very cleverly today. He was ensuring that the ball was turning away from the left-handers. Not one of them was that inside slider ball. They were all spinning away. Second, and more importantly, he was bowling it back of a length. What is it traditionally that you remember when you watch spinners bowl slightly back of a length in Test cricket? What is it that batters will look to do? They look to play them off the back foot. They look to play them late. They look to try and cut or just waft away or something on the offside. Maybe try and just play it late, dab it, get a single. I understand it's the power play. I understand you can't take a risk. Then why not go for a late cut? Why not try and pick the boundary or pick the gaps in the middle of the 30-yard circle instead of trying to go for a hoik that was quite frankly never on? What was the worst that could have happened if you went for a late shot? Maybe you would have edged it. Maybe you would have played the shot and that would have ended up going to the fielder. No problem. Because you're playing a cut, a late cut, more often than not, it's not going to be aerial. You'll play it along the ground. Think, I dare say, and I can't believe I'm going to make this analogy, think how Harshit Rana was playing the likes of Adam Zampa in that series against Australia.
Melbourne.
Yes. Because he was playing it late, but he was playing it cut along the ground. Why were you not trying to do that? You were trying to go for a hoik. A mindless hoik at that. As for Washington, we'll get to that in just a bit. But first, I want to know also as well what you were thinking about that thing. Because you were also saying that, listen, they weren't looking to tackle this traps properly at all.
Yeah, I mean, what do I say when you know very well that the opposition is gunning for you?
We were talking about it, remember?
Yeah, they have plans for you. You know very well now that with so many left-handers, okay, off spin is the way to go. And you're going to face now two teams that will have off spinners in their lineup. One is West Indies in Ruston Chase. He will exploit it. You have Sikandar Raza and Brian Bennett who can do it for Zimbabwe. Two off spinners. If you can't handle one, there is two. Now, Ishan, I can understand he goes one way. He just wants to bat aggressively. That served him in all the games that he's come back in ever since. But here he chose the wrong bowler.
And the wrong ball.
Wrong ball. Because remember, when we were highlighting it in the post, when in the ground report that was there, he was targeting one particular area. Markram was targeting one particular, and he got his job done. 1 over. He just had to break the back of the Indian batting, and it was Ishan. Ishan went, Abhishek with low, woeful confidence that is there at this point in time. He also did a big hit only for Corbin Bosch to take a very good catch. He could have very well dropped it because he and Keshav Maharaj almost collided. But then he kind of looked to be getting back to that thing. See, he also didn't get off the mark pretty easily. I mean, he just took a 4, then he hit a 6 and a 4. Then apart from that, he hit 14 runs in boundaries of 3 balls. The rest of the 8 balls were only 1 run. So even Abhishek, clearly the confidence has been underwhelmed.
Obviously. And I don't blame him for that.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of game where I think you could have actually played yourself in a little bit. I say the same for Ishan. Listen, if the conditions aren't conducive to stroke making at first, and we saw that the power play actually wasn't that easy to score off, why not try and find a different way to score? You don't need to be hitting 6s. Try and get a 4 here or there. Try and ensure you're getting 8-9 runs off the over. That way, at least you've ensured that you're staying in touching distance of this thing. And then once you're well set, once you're figuring out how the pitch plays, and once you've blunted the initial stage, and then South Africa are like, oh, these plans of ours are not working. So what do we have to do? We have to change tack. But then when they change tack, that's when you're well prepared. Here's what happened is that you fell for their plan A. They didn't need to go for much of a plan B thereafter.
And it was poor observations. Why? If India had observed that in the power play it was very difficult to get going, when South Africa also couldn't get going, you could have bided your time. At least, if not 6 overs, 1 for 40, it could have been 1 for 30. It could have been 2 for 40 or 1 for 30. You could have then accelerated in the middle overs. Because South Africa did the same thing, accelerated in the middle overs. And they don't have the proper death bowling resources, barring a Jansen and an Ngidi. So you could have dug yourself in, ensured that I ride through the tough passage of the power play, and then I go berserk. I have the batting depth, I'll go berserk for it. But here the false confidence is that if I lose 3-4 wickets in any chase, then I'm playing catch up.
Correct.
And the pitches now, that's thrown a different googly altogether. The pitches are not what it was in January. It's February, it's the end of February almost, March, it's going to be totally different. So how on earth am I going to ensure that I do well? So the pitch has confounded India and their tactics. Now they can't go gung-ho. They did it against Namibia also. That was their best power play start, by the way. But then after that, what happened? They slowed down in the middle overs. This is the issue. And I will come back to Sundar on his selection.
Yeah, because that's, I think, a big talking point that's only been confounded big time by how the match has gone.
Big time. Today, as I mentioned, South Africa did not play for the matchups. They played for the match win.
Yeah.
Why on earth have India suddenly gotten spooked when there was no need to get spooked? Why were India spooked when you had 3 left-handers? 3 left-handers, out of which 2 were done for by Bumrah and Arshdeep. Bumrah in particular. He got rid of Rickleton, he got rid of De Kock. You just had to tackle Miller. And when you got him for that, it didn't work. Aksar, what he could have done is, on that particular wicket, if he had not gotten you runs, he could have at least contained the flow. Sundar, let's look at how many runs did he concede. He bowled only 1 over, if I'm not mistaken, Washington Sundar. Just go up, up. So, what has happened? Sundar bowled 2 overs for 17. You could have very well had it in Akshar Patel also. 2 overs for 17. Knowing fully well that there was another right-hander there. Were you then so spooked by Devol Brevis that he tackles spin better? I don't know when did the Indian team fall into the trap of the opposition. You play your best batter and best floater in Akshar Patel, and you suddenly pick a Washington Sundar who got injured. You suddenly pick him and you thrust him into the Super 8. But I thought you were flexible. 3 left-handers in a batting lineup of 7 have ensured.
8.
Okay,
Cobb and Bosch.
4. Yeah, 4. Then I'll make it 4. Rabada also, 9. Okay. 4 left-handers out of 9 has ensured that your tactic can't be trusted upon. This is the more shocking bit when I have to look at the Indian cricket team at this point in time.
Yeah,
So,
I'll sum it up more. I will just say that this was a 3D disaster. You know why?
yeah.
Because when you're looking at it, who of Washington Sundar or Akshar Patel is the better batter? Akshar Patel.
Akshar Patel, yes.
Who of Akshar Patel or Washington Sundar is the better bowler? Akshar Patel. Who of Washington Sundar or Akshar Patel is the better fielder? Akshar Patel.
Yep.
Washington Sundar went for 2 catches, both very spectacular, both very tough, couldn't pull off either, and gave away a 6 or a 4 when at that point in time, possibly going for the run-saving option seemed safer. Would Akshar have saved those runs? I believe he might have.
He would have. So we
And
had.
that's the thing. Before we go to Harshit,
Harshit has joined us.
I will just say that, listen, this tactic, you may as well abandon it. It's done you no good, and it will not do you any good going further.
It won't do any good, and we are joined by Harshit from Ahmedabad, who's got some very disappointed fans at this stage. And remember, people were going out of the Narendra Modi Stadium as well before the result happened. So, Harshit, can you hear us? I think he's got a network issue
Yeah,
problem.
we'll work on that.
I can hear
Yeah.
you, Siddharth. I rightly said that many of. Am I not audible to you guys?
No, you are. Carry on, carry on.
But the frame, you're frozen. Your network is frozen, Harshit.
Okay. Okay, shall we be moving further then?
Yeah, try.
It's fine now.
Okay. Is the frame still frozen, guys?
There is a network issue, but I think you can carry on. You can carry on.
Okay, okay. I'll hand it over to the disappointed fans who happen to be joining me right now. As you rightly said, Siddharth, many of these guys had walked out of the stadium much before the final ball was bowled, and you don't say about this Indian team that often that it leaves its fans disappointed to the extent that they leave even before the final ball is bowled. Some of the fans joining me right now have come all the way from Spain to watch this match, and you can imagine what that disappointment must feel like. I'll hand it over to you guys. Tell us what is it that it feels like for an Indian team to be losing a World Cup match in front of home crowd by a hefty margin of 76 runs.
Yeah, we came here with the match, but
Audio's gone.
Seem to be having some issues in that regard.
Yeah, that's a huge issue. Yes.
Is he frozen?
I think there's an audio issue.
Oh dear. Okay, so we'll just continue on the discussion for the time being until we can get Harshit back. Hopefully, Shivam will let us know when Harshit is hopefully in a better
Okay,
network position.
My colleagues tell me, I hear you guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rejoin the link. I understand there is still a bit of a lag. So I'll rejoin you in a couple of minutes from a different location. Hopefully,
Sure
there'll be
thing.
good luck over there.
Sure.
Sure. So yes, I'm pretty much sure that the fans there are bitterly disappointed, because see, they had come all the way from a lot of places. I mean, it was 90 plus thousand, close to a lakh today. But on what aspect will they be disappointed on? On the other hand, from team selection, from the attitude that you've been showing, and look, even in the press conference at this point in time, I think now it is time for Suryakumar Yadav to shun the cockiness. In every press conference that he's been there, I think there is this cockiness about Suryakumar Yadav, which now might be getting to a lot of people's nerves at this stage. This loss will only amplify it even further, because if he's out in a matter of couple of games, imagine how cruel this is. You've had such a period of dominance, yet you couldn't win the T20 World Cup at home, which was ideal, which was in more ways than one, well suited to you. It was handed to you on a platter. Despite all the things about the group fixing and all those kind of things, it's a huge setback. Now, let's take one factor, Shane, which you are very angry about. I pick the mental mindset. India looked defeated even before they even stepped out onto the field. 187, tactics horribly gone wrong. Today I will blame Sky the captain. Sky the captain today, right from his selection, that oh, it is tactical, yaar, it is harsh on Aksar. Bro, you blundered big time. And your bowling rotation, what did you do? You put Arshdeep in 3 overs of power play. Excuse me. Is there an identity crisis? Because as far as I know, Hardik should have bowled 3 in the power play and given Arshdeep more overs in the death. Unless there was an identity crisis at Ahmedabad, the roles were flipped. We all know that Hardik struggles many times. There's a big sample size. Out of 8 or 10, 9 he will struggle, 1 he will succeed in the power play in the death overs. Today, why did Suryakumar Yadav give the over? The 20th over of all things to Hardik Pandya. Yes, if you are stuck in the time warp of Barbados, yes, he defended 16 runs, but by the barest of margins. Because Bumrah and Arshdeep had made it very impossible for you to go through. Here, Bumrah and Arshdeep did the hard work, but Hardik conceded 20 runs. I think nearly 20 runs if I am not mistaken. I am angry on the fact that Suryakumar Yadav's captaincy today was all over the shop. From selection to the batting lineup to bowling rotation, everything fell apart like a house on cards. And we are also joined by Nikhil at this point in time, who's disappointed also. But Nikhil, we know that it would have been an uphill task. But the manner and the way they have lost, that too by 76 runs, that too in the first game of the Super 8, is it a danger sign that all your complacency, all your planning, all your hype might suddenly come crashing down in a couple of days?
No, but Siddharth, let's be honest. We didn't think it was an uphill task. Let's be honest. All of us got it wrong. Let's be honest. All of us were bullish in the mid innings, and we said India is winning it. Right? We've been proven wrong, and it's now to say that it was a tough task. No, see again we gave that example of that game. They played New Zealand versus South Africa. That happened on this very ground. On this very ground, they won convincingly. They won by they reached or they chased that target upwards of 170 in 17 overs, 3 overs to spare. So it's not that Ahmedabad is a ground where a total like this cannot be chased. Of course it can be. Was the pitch doing a lot? I don't think so. Did it get sluggish? I don't think so. I think the whole sole blame of this loss lies with the failure of the Indian batting. To an extent with India's bowling as well. They did end up giving maybe 10, 12 runs more. I think 170, 75 should have been the total. And there are various reasons for that. But before even we get to what tricks that the captain missed when it came to bowling, the tricks that Indian bowlers missed when it came to bowling, let's address the elephant in the room, and that is India's batting. Have they covered themselves in glory with the performance? No. And see, again, as I said, one loss doesn't define India's campaign. They very well can now, stitch together 2 wins, qualify for semis, 2 good games. They retain the title and everything else is forgotten, right? But there was a reason. There was a reason why we here on Sports Today as well, were raising questions about India's batting. Yes, they were winning. Yes, all of their frailties were being hidden by India's bowling. But what we're talking about this thing, that the same batting unit that looked so good, that used to get 220, 230, 240 for fun, is not looking like the fluid unit that we have. And what is the reason that explains it's not look like the most fluid unit? Can we just pin it down to the pitches? Yes, pitches haven't been that great. I agree. But there has to be a lot more to that than just the pitches. And I'd love to know your thoughts. I have a hypothesis in mind why I think the batting has not been clicking. I'd love to hear from you guys, and then I'd come up with my own hypothesis.
See, the pitches have been a real googly for this Indian cricket team. Because what changed in January? January, the Indian cricket team were playing on shirt fronts. But here, ever since Mumbai, how many times have you gone past 200 plus, which was the gold standard, which was the benchmark that the Indian cricket team batting unit had set? Only once. And that too, when Ishan Kishan gave you a good start in Delhi. Delhi was the flattest of the pitches that was there. Colombo, not possible, it was very sluggish. Mumbai, surprisingly did a lot. Ahmedabad, you struggled in the beginning, but then you bounced back later. But Netherlands almost exposed that with the chase. Here, you are chasing for the first time with a target well known. They floundered by 76 runs. The pitch's nature, banging it into the pitch, the cutters, has ensured that, okay, we are not been able to adapt to, it's the question of adaptability, because the pitches have been so different, the Indian batters have not adapted well to it. Then that blows away that hypothesis that Shivam Dube mentioned in Ahmedabad 2 days ago. That yes, we cannot, we have been posting very good totals. So I don't know where the Indian team has got it wrong. The pitches have definitely played a role. The way, the characteristics of it has changed.
I think, pitches definitely have played a factor. I think we've been used to watching this Indian side actually play on some fairly flat tracks, and they made it an enjoyable watch because they just amass runs for fun. That's pretty much the point of flattening the pitch in the first place. You want to ensure that the batters can make merry whilst the sun is shining, and the sun would be shining for all.
Guys, I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
But we can
you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
I can hear you, Harshit. We all can hear you.
Yeah. Anyhow, I'll just continue on with what I was saying. Basically,
Yes, I can hear you now.
perfect. So the pitches have played a role. The other thing, however, which I feel is that at this point in time, both of your openers have been struggling. We thought, okay, Abhishek's in fine form. We just need the right partner for him. So you dropped Sanju Samson. You brought in Ishan Kishan. Ishan's had a couple of decent games. But aside from that, he's also not quite been... It's been
Where are you
hit
guys from?
or miss. And at this point in time, because your openers are not getting this kind of quick fire starts, the foundation's not being laid and everyone else is having to change their game or try and up the ante, but not been working.
Yeah, so Harshit, we are joined by Harshit from Ahmedabad also, and Harshit, there are disappointed fans at this point in time. If you can ask them, and even your own hypothesis, why do you think that this Indian batting has come a cropper? Is it the pitch? Is it poor form of the openers? What is your hypothesis of it? No, we can't hear Harshit now.
Oh, Lord.
Them from Gujarat itself, but different corners. Let me throw that question to them and let's try and see what is it that the fans have made of this Indian team's performance. Let me come to you first. The fact that we were seeing this team score 200, 220s, 250 is so fun. What's going wrong? We didn't even manage 150 runs today.
Harshit, you'll have to let go of the mic because you know the mic and the earpods will never work together. The audio that comes will only come from one source, and that is your earpods. So that's why we can hear you, but we can't hear anybody who's talking.
Just a moment. Thanks for that. Does this work better? Yeah,
we can
go on.
speak,
You're making a point. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It'll only one earpod will work, which I told you. So if you've got one in your ear, only that one will work. You'll have to put the other one back in the case. You'll have to use the one earpod.
Just a moment. Okay. Hopefully, this should be good now. This should be good.
Yes. Yeah. Now use
Perfect.
that to take it close to him. Take
Perfect,
it out from your
perfect.
ear.
Yeah,
Take it out from
yeah.
your ear and take it close
Okay.
to him.
Take 3. This is the final one. Please tell us how. What's your hypothesis?
No, we can't get the audio.
Sorry, Ashit, we're having trouble. We're having trouble. We'll try and.
Support.
People lost their hope from Indian team. I think from third. The bowling was they should focus on most on bowling.
At one point, saw people.
They were disheartened. Like people were disheartened.
Okay, so we seem to be having some technical and audio issues that is there from the Narendra Modi Stadium. So yeah, Nikhil, this was basically our hypothesis. I think openers not in form, plus the nature of the wickets has changed in an ICC event.
I mean, my hypothesis is two things. One, I think the Indian team needed to realize, and I could be wrong, as I said, India can still go on and win the T20 World Cup. But I think what you can conclude at this stage where India have lost this game is that couple of things they've gotten wrong. Okay. And I'll tell you in detail what I feel those two things are. One, the fact that they did not keep in mind that when it comes to World Cups, you're not going to get those high scoring games. And that's not only down to pitches, because we've still had some good pitches. Some have been tacky, I agree, but some pitches have been very tough. Some pitches have been very good to bat on. pitches where you can get a lot of runs. But as I said, ICC tournament brings with it a lot of pressure. It doesn't make your decision making that much more easier. It doesn't make you as adventurous as you are on other occasions, and so runs come down. So the manner of playing slightly changes, and I must tell you, previous teams were mindful of that. Take a look at the 2024 team that won the World Cup. I think somewhere there was a realization that not every game we're going to be getting big totals. You see how that World Cup panned out, the T20 World Cup. They want all 200 plus games. The pitches also contributed, I agree. Go to the Australia T20 World Cup as well. England came with a reputation of getting 200 all the time. But see the games that they played, well, they were there at that T20 World Cup because they won that title. Most occasions, you remember that final, low-scoring final? You remember they scraped through with a game, I think it was versus Sri Lanka. Ben Stokes played a runner ball sort of an inning.
Sydney,
yes. Rare guard action. So you are going to get pitches which are going to be slightly low scoring, and you weren't prepared for that. You kept preparing for that one template, which is bang, bang, bang attack, and you mastered it. You look very good. You made the other teams notice you, but you forgot that there needs to be a slightly different plan as well for these sort of an ICC tournaments where things can change. Secondly, I feel that the one thing that made this Indian team such a good unit, a unit that every other team was fearful of, was their absolute fearless approach. They couldn't care less if the score was 30 for 3 or whatever it was. They just couldn't care less. Just couldn't care less at that situation. You know, what the team was going through or what was happening. They would keep attacking and say, fine, either we go all gun blazing or we go out again with all guns blazing. But at no point we're going to have this meek approach. I think somewhere, and I think the pitches also contribute to that, somewhere it added to that confusion of this Indian team. The hallmark of that T20 team was we are fearless, and there was a clear thinking process that no matter what happens, we're going to attack. Now you got a few pitches where you realize that, plan B, plan C needs to come in and we need to change with situation. What that did is just took that outright belief that you had in hitting, change it to a bit to the conditions that will be on offer, and be a bit more condition specific, which Indian team wasn't planning to do or hadn't even prepared for. See, I'll go back to that Rohit team. That Rohit's team was prepared for different situations. On a given day, big scoring games, but on a given day, different scoring games. And they prepared like that, having learned their lesson in that 2022 Australia T20 World Cup, where they were found wanting versus England in that semi-final. Then they figured out that we need to have a fearless approach, but on certain occasions, we need to go to plan B, plan C. This Indian team took that fearless approach and took it to another level. I praised it myself. We all praised it and took it to another level. Even bettered it to the Rohit Sharma team. But I think somewhere they never planned for those situations, knowing fully well that the games are in India, thinking that you're only going to get belters. But on occasions you didn't. You had to, change your thinking a little bit. And I think that whenever you're with a clear mind, that clear mind allowed them to bat in the way that they did. But now that clear mind with some cobwebs, with a bit of tweaking here and there, has ensured that even when you need a clear mind to be attacking, you're caught in a bit of a web. You don't know. Like, I'll give you an example. Tilak at one time was aggressive. Then on certain games went into a shell. Then we were discussing, should he be like that? Should he not be like, what did he do today? To prove that he cannot go into a shell, comes dancing down the wicket, goes away from his consolidation sort of a role to now being an attacker. And now he's neither here, he's neither there. And I think that's the thing with the Indian team. They're neither here, neither there. And so that is the only thing that makes me a little doubtful about this Indian team. As I said, they can still go on to win the World Cup, but the invincibility that they had going into this World Cup, that's really come down. Not a notch, but a notch or two.
Then what was the starting point then, Nikhil? Because are they then listening to the outside noise? Oh, you've got the off-spin bogey. Oh, there's an anchor. those outside noises didn't bother the Indian cricket team in 25 or 26. Then why is the outside noise now? Because it can't be any coincidence. Tilak is unsure of his role. Why now? Why are then we unsure about other things about the Indian batting lineup? In the same batting lineup, let me tell you, chased down 115 10 overs, made 200. So are they?
But the difference is, Siddharth, a lot of those time it wasn't the ICC tournament.
Yeah.
Will you understand? Bilaterals don't count for much. The thing is, and this is what, see, okay, I'll just go back to a very basic thing. What's the basic thing? The basic thing is that India are aiming, what is our coverage based on? India are aiming to become the first team to defend their T20 crown, right? There's a reason behind that, right? Because when you're defending a crown, it brings with it a lot more pressure. Everyone will take it as a failure if you don't win the title. On certain occasions, reaching a semis is fine. Reaching a final is good enough. If you don't win the title, it is a failure. That pressure now is not there in bilateral. You're not carrying that. That pressure is only now. When you're playing South Africa, you know fully well, if you lose this game, you're in a do or die situation, which you've reached, right? That thought is never there in bilateral series. Doesn't matter, win or lose. You say, go and play freely, show the world what we are made of, bat aggressively. That's what we are. Now you can't do that. Now you cannot be doing.
Yeah, that in that point in the bilateral was an ICC. Rohit had also mentioned somewhere in the middle of that rut. See, if I'm playing a bilateral, I can plan for that one team effectively, and that's why we do very well. But if it's an ICC event, there are multiple teams, multiple plannings, and somewhere along the multiple plannings bit, the execution will fall short. And that was what was the main bane of India's rut that was happening from 2013, from 2014 onwards until 2024. So, this is where I think the planning and execution, Suryakumar Yadav and his side are finding it in a very, very hard way that is there. So, Harshit has joined us back. Harshit, can you hear us?
I can very well, Siddharth.
Okay. Harshit, when you spoke to the fans, the general mood that was there, what were they most angry with? Was it the tactics of the Indian team? Was it the captaincy? Was it the batting? What was it?
But truth be told, I still sense a lot of optimism amongst the fans. Yes, they're disappointed with the result, but I have not come across a single fan yet who's seething with anger perhaps because of the result. The disappointment is there to be seen, but they remain fully well sure of the fact that this Indian team, despite it having a net run rate, they're very informed about the fact that that net run rate is a negative 3.8. And they know that the next two matches will be must-win games. So they're well informed of what the fallout of this match has been and what is it that the Indian team will have to do now going forward. But the enthusiasm hasn't dipped. It is a disappointment. And for one thing that I've picked up that is disappointing the fans the most is the fact that you're not getting an opening partnership. And it seems like a bit of a curse right now that one of the two batters up top has to register a duck. That's been just the theme of the Indian team till now. If you're a left-hander, there is a duck against your name. If your name is Ishan Kishan or Abhishek Sharma, I'm sorry to say, but that's been the story. And there is no other way to sugarcoat it. And that is what the fans have been the most angst about. The other disappointment for them, Siddharth, has been the fact that the local boys, especially Hardik Pandya, who has, I must say, more of a following than Jasprit Bumrah, something that I didn't expect to begin with. But the fact that Hardik Pandya went wicketless, wasn't able to bundle the team out. They had expectations after you lost the first couple of wickets. The two players that were expected to take the team out of trouble, Hardik Pandya, Riku Singh, people still had expectations. But once that 8 wickets fell, Sundar, the number of people that almost rose simultaneously in the stadium was not 1 and 2 and 3 and 400, but a few thousand people got up at the same time. So people were disappointed that these two guys could not take the team out of trouble today. But that doesn't mean that the fans have lost hope in this Indian team.
You know, I tell you one thing. This thing about the openers not giving a start, which is a fact. What Harshit is mentioning is a fact. I completely agree. But, I spoke to Mr. Gavaskar as well, and that's the conversation that's going to be up on Sports Today. And he mentioned that the biggest reason that India is not doing well is primarily the openers are not firing, and so we're not getting good starts. But can I be honest, and without mincing my words, I don't think that that's a true reflection. I think it's a cop out because I go back to that year and a half. It was based on the fact that your openers not necessarily did well in every game. There were times when Abhishek Sharma went through a bit of a rut. I mean, there's no better example than the Asia Cup final. You didn't have a good start, 35 of 3. You were winning games. So there were many games, and I can't recall all games, but I remember a lot of games where you had lost the first 3 wickets for 30 runs, for 40 runs. Yet I know that this team went past 200. This team had the ability to go past 200. They were doing it on a consistent basis. So just to say that, we're not getting a good start, the team is not doing it, I don't think that's true. This team was built on the philosophy that doesn't matter what the start is or what the second guy or the third guy or the fourth guy does, somebody or the other will do it. And to an extent, that was happening in this World Cup as well, right? Suryakumar Yadav would step up on a given day, Shivam Dube would step up on a given day, somebody would step up and you would do it. But as I said, I still think it's not just about the start. It is about you not keeping in mind that this is a ICC tournament. Scores will come down. Maybe we need to change an approach. You did not prepare for a plan B. You put all your eggs in the same basket, and that was, we're going to go all out blazing. That's great. That looks very good. But good teams are the ones that do that, but on occasions can slightly tweak that as well. And that's why I give example of England in 2022. They could do that, but on a given day, quickly tweak that around and win. And by the way, you're also winning, also not winning because of the certain calls you're taken. I'm sure you must have discussed about it, but these small little things make a huge difference. On occasions, your fielding has not been up to the mark. This game, South Africa were by far the best fielding side. I know you didn't make major blunders, but look at that difference between the two teams. South Africa, next to outstanding in fielding. That's one. Right? Small things, but make huge difference. Second bit, you're not playing Akshar Patel. I, for the life of me, cannot understand how can you think of dropping Akshar Patel. I know Siddharth will come up with his, Bapu analogy and playing in Gujarat and all of that, which is fine, but I'm just saying in cricketing terms, if this game was not happening in Ahmedabad, this game could have been happening in Timbuktu. Akshar Patel, how doesn't he make your team? I can't understand. And I'm saying not even with his batting, you're making him bat at number 8. By the way, I must point out, today was a perfect situation for an Akshar Patel. You said Washington Sundar there, Akshar Patel in that batting position. Today was, out of all the days, you needed an Akshar Patel sort of an innings. He came and gave you 40 runs at a quick fire, 40 runs. Game could have been different. Your Rinku didn't have to play the shot that he did, or your Hardik didn't have to play the shot he did, or have that approach. That change you needed. Today, Akshar could have done it simply because Akshar has done it before. I'm not, trying to attack Washington Sundar, the batter, but Akshar has done it. Today, you needed him. But it's not even the Akshar Patel's batting. It's Akshar Patel's bowling. He has been on occasions where you were getting hammered, the one who came and picked up wickets. We discussed those matches. USA game, you were getting hammered, comes, picks up those wickets. Pakistan game, there was a scenario where they were getting a few runs. Akshar Patel comes, gets you those wickets. He's been doing it consistently with the ball as well. Did they not see the Netherlands game? Versus Netherlands, where you experimented? I had no problem that Washi played the Netherlands game. But I think that game in itself should have given you the biggest clue, even if you were not totally on the ball, that Washi the bowler cannot help me get me wickets. Washi the batter still could. He cannot help me. Today, you missed Akshar Patel, the bowler as well. If I'm Akshar Patel, I'm wondering, I'm the guy who won you that title, that final with the bat. I'm the guy who's been helping out with the ball. I'm sitting out for matchups. And I'm sorry, matchups you have for only the bowlers. Why no matchup for batter? You don't want to play Sanju Samson because you say, no, we go on form. Matchups don't matter. Form is important. So we will back Abhishek. We will back Ishan Kishan. We will back Tilak Verma, they can be all left-handers. We've been talking about matchups in the Indian top order. We said maybe put Sky there, do this. Why? Because they are going to bring the off spinner. They'll have matchups. But you are saying, no, no, no. We don't rely on matchup. We want to back our batters, even if there are first three batters are lefty. And I'm okay with it. I believe in it that back your batters. On occasions, you had top three right-handers as well. You used to play like that. And you did well. No problem. So you back three left-handers, no problem. I am not a believer in matchups. I go with form. I go with tried and tested. So for batters, you have that standard, tried and tested over matchups. For bowler, you have suddenly got matchup and you got Washington Sundar. I do not agree with that. It's a blunder to say the least. And the third blunder, Jasprit Bumrah, not bringing him. The one thing India did very well in that 2024 World Cup, let's not forget when you won the title, is how you use Jasprit Bumrah in the middle overs. You saved 2 overs in the death. Sometimes you didn't bowl him in the power play, or maybe 1 over up in the power play, 1 over in the middle, 2 in the death. That was a set formula that paid dividends like nobody's business. Today, you knew the game was there. Miller, Brevis, that partnership, 97-run partnership, if I'm not mistaken. If you broke that partnership early, South Africa would have struggled. That was when you needed your ace bowler to come in, break that partnership, put South Africa in the position where India was, but you let the game slip. You saved him for the last 2 overs. Last 2 overs, yes, he'll still bowl good overs, give you 6 and over. How does that change? How does that thing change? So I think tactical blunders, you're not preparing for, your plan B, all has resulted in you now in a position where it's a do or die. One mistake, your campaign is over. Gents, everyone who's joining us, let's not lose sight of the fact. One mistake now, your campaign is done.
Indeed. It is, because West Indies, Zimbabwe, tomorrow's the game. West Indies, South Africa is on Thursday. And then South Africa, Zimbabwe are is on Sunday. So every group game now in this Super 8 stage, India will not just have to look what is in front of them, but they also have to look behind.
Yeah.
Because any team that wins from there, it can hurt their prospects also. There is a possibility where 3 teams can be tied on 4 points.
And if that happens, then India might just be doing a lot of math, because right now, net run rate does not favor them at all.
Minus 3.8.
We were talking about net run rate being impacted in today's earlier game, where we said that, look, Sri Lanka look all but out, considering the fact that you've got 2 teams who've got 1 point, which will make things tougher. For India, they need not just 2 wins, they need 2 big wins to ensure the net run rate looks better and that they are in points contention. It's a very tough situation because, quite frankly, there's no margin for error.
No margin for error. And Harshit, when you were there, when did you start to realize that, okay, the mood started to change in the camp itself? Like, oh, okay, they may have made 187. There was still some optimism. But then when did you realize, we are sinking to a big win? What was that one moment for you when you watched it? That was it the Kishan wicket? Was it the way how we leaked runs in the death overs? What was that one moment when you saw that the tide completely shifted?
At the halfway stage, Siddhartha, my sense was that this Indian team heaved a sigh of relief. A sigh of relief because, let's not forget, South Africa were going at nearly 10 and over. So you're looking at about 200 to 10. That is exactly the kind of total at around the 12 over mark you were looking at, because I categorically remember 12.4, 12.5, they had nearly 130 runs on the board. So they were looking set with about 7 to 8 wickets in hand, 6 to 7 wickets in hand at that time. They were looking good to be posting around 200 runs. So there was a bit of a pullback from the Indian team, which had their tail up. However, the general sense in the stadium and in the press box, I felt also was that this ain't going to be a straightforward chase. This is not getting done in the 18th or the 19th over. It will take some doing for you to be able to get over the line. And if you ask me when exactly is it in the chase that you felt that things had gone out of hand, I think when Hardik Pandya's wicket fell, so much of the burden people thought Hardik Pandya could do all alone. I said this, that this place, the Narendra Modi Stadium today, it felt like it was resting on Hardik Pandya's shoulders. And not because of the way the match played out, because I think of the fanfare that he enjoys in this city. People have some unreal belief in Hardik Pandya and his abilities. notwithstanding that he had an off day with the ball, people felt, and remember, 10.1, India broke free from the shackles after 25 deliveries, and that six of Maharaj came from Hardik Pandya. There were 25 deliveries. India hadn't scored a single boundary. 6.6 was your last boundary, after which your boundary came at 10.1. And that is a boundary that was scored by Hardik Pandya. It was a six of Keshav Maharaj, which almost, by the way, had him caught in the deep as well. The point being, till the time Hardik Pandya was there, I think there was hope, even when India had lost four odd wickets. But then the moment that that wicket fell, there was just a glimmer of hope that the fans were still left with. And that glimmer of hope also died once Rinku Singh got out. And truth be told, perhaps it should have died much earlier, if you ask me, because Rinku Singh was batting at a time where you needed 100 plus with some 30 odd deliveries left, and there was just way too much you were asking from a Rinku Singh as well. Once that wicket fell, this stadium was almost half done after that.
But I'll tell you, it's not that. I think the fans need to be blamed for this. Yeah, you're relying on. Yeah, we love Hardik Pandya because he's won us an IPL title, so he'll take us to the win. Fans also, in that sense, need to get a reality check. And I think the other reality check that we've had is, Jasprit Bumrah is worth his weight in gold. I completely agree. The other superstar that we have is Varun Chakravarti. But today, I think the other realization that every other team will have is if you put Varun Chakravarti under pressure, he will start to stutter. Today, when you put him under pressure, as Brevis and
Miller.
At that time Miller were doing, he started spraying the ball everywhere, didn't know what variation to bowl, what to do. I tell you, the biggest sign for me for a bowler is when a bowler goes away from his plan A. See, his plan A has worked. His googlies and the rare leg break that he bowls has worked well for Varun, right? He gets hammered. If I see a bowler still stick to his plans, hats off to the bowler. That's okay. You can get hammered, but he's sticking to the plans that work for him. When a bowler tries to escape, when he tries to get out of the situation by trying X, Y, Z sort of things that he never does, or trying to just bowl outside wide of the off stump, leg stump, preempting the batter, that is when he's under the cosh. And when he is under the cosh, he was doing various things. That's not a great say. That's not a great sight for an Indian fan. And that's a thing that most opposition teams are going to pick. The other realization, Shivam Dube, we've been admirers of Shivam Dube, the batter. We've also appreciated Shivam Dube, the bowler, or how far he's come as a bowler, or he's improved. I still maintain that he has worked on it and everything. But Shivam Dube also, look at what South Africa did, which sometimes other teams are not doing. South Africa said, he's a makeshift bowler, we're going to attack him. We have to plunder him. We have to get all the runs out of him. Other teams have been slightly careful. They have had that approach, and when he was under pressure, same thing. His slower ones which would land were not landing, they were turning into full tosses. Others were going wide outside the off stump. Even he was fearing the batter. I think your real test of character for a bowler is when you're under the pump, you're under the cosh. That's where a big bowler comes up. That's where a Jasprit Bumrah comes up. I'll even go so far as to say a Hardik Pandya also. He's been under attack, but sticks to his plan on given days he'll follow. I'll give even Arshdeep Singh that credit. There have been days that he attacks. He's been attacked. He's been plundered. People have taken runs off him, but sticks to his plan. Today, there is a realization that you got a bit of Varun Chakravarti, a bit of Shivam Dube. I hope it's a one-off day and we not make much of it. And we think like the fans that are there in Ahmedabad saying it's a bad day and they can still make the semi-final. But remember, the opposition is watching. Every opposition team today has taken note, just as you and I have, and they're going to make the most of it come their game versus India.
Gents.
There's just a quick point I wanted to make. Siddharth, may I come in?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I must say one thing from what we've seen in these 5 matches of India. I have a very strong feeling, and I think we have enough evidence as well. Forget the feeling that I have. I think there is enough evidence right from the USA. to Namibia to even South Africa. I think teams have upped their level. From bilaterals, the levels have completely changed as far as the oppositions are concerned, and they have plans. I remember making this point a couple of days back on the dugout where I felt that this Indian team needs to innovate a bit more because teams have definitely drawn up plans. And what's that plan be, or what is that innovation going to be for India? Because at the moment, everyone knows India going to go gung ho. India not going to relent, or you're going to be bringing in a Jasprit Bumrah or a Varun Chakravarti to get the odd breakthrough. I think the plans are pretty clear. Today, what did the Suryakumar Yadav do? He tried changing the end as well, and he in fact did change Varun Chakravarti's end, but it didn't reap any dividends. The time that he got Miller's wicket, he had already done all the damage. So, a couple of weeks back when you were playing South Africa had Aiden Markram at 5. People tend to forget that teams were still sort of figuring out their best plans. India had presented its best plan to the world already. South Africa weren't even playing their best 11 at that time, I feel. There were players who don't even feature in the 11 right now. But a USA came up with plans. A Namibia came up with plans. It's only because of those plans that the round arm delivery worked. Look at Aiden Markram. The plan was very clear. Only 1 over by Aiden Markram. He doesn't bowl after that. He doesn't bowl after that because the plan was that he needs to get that wicket right up top, which he did, and he takes himself out of attack. So there have been plans that opposition teams have had for the Indian team. And I think perhaps the Indians showed all their cards in the bilaterals and teams have leveled up a bit. And we must admit that. And that good thing is you still have time to figure something out. It's not like it's all doom and gloom already.
Gents, with the way how this tournament is now, you only have 2 more games left, okay? And all in the matter of 1 week. What do you think? Now with the Indian batting now that there is a clear plan, are they now going to have this clamor call that, okay, I think we need to change the batting lineup composition? Not so much left heavy, maybe you have to go a bit right? What do you guys think?
You can begin with Shane.
No, I would not want to change this particular thing. I don't think the combinations matter as much. I think you'll need to back your players and tell them, listen guys, we know you've got the ability. I know in fact that you guys can do it. I don't think if you're going to be making another change now, it'll be just as bad as dropping Akshar, a proven match winner, for Washington Sundar, because the opposition team has 3 left-handers out of their 8 batters. I think it'll be foolish. What you have right now as far as the batting 11s, barring a Sundar, I'd bring in an Akshar for a Sundar because that's your best combination. Stick with that and don't panic change. If you panic change, the tournament's done.
Sundar, before you answer that, and Nikhil, even before you go in, you just saw what happened at the press conference. One takeaway, because it's relevant to what we're trying to answer over here. Ranton Carter said that Sanju Samson will be a talking point in the next few days.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that seriously. Rantan Deshkate has been very honest, very upfront in his press conferences, but that hasn't amounted to much in the decision that the team does. You can say what you want to say. It hasn't really resulted in much changes with the Indian team, and I'm going back a few series as well. I think I like the fact that Rantan Deshkate grabs the bull by its horns and says it as it is. But my other point is, honestly, why is a Rantan Deshkate there at the press conference today?
Yes.
He's the easy one to deflect answers, right? Soft target.
at least Sitanshu Kotak didn't come. He would have deflected it even more.
Oh God.
Trust me. See, whenever you lose, barring a Gambhir, he is direct, he fronts up. But I think they will unleash Gambhir if the situation becomes too dire.
I think they're done with
Siddharth, after what happened in the T20 series, the ODI series, I doubt if you're doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But what do you think?
There was too much of damage control that they had to do after Gambhir was said.
He's not come for a press conference after that.
Yeah.
I told you that.
Everything.
I told you that. I gave you inside dope on that there was a high level meeting that happened. I've shared it on Sports Today that after that press conference, a high level meeting that happened. Heads got together and conversations were had. And since then, you see, bang on what I'd shared with you. He's not come for the press conference.
Yep.
He's not come.
No,
But again, as I said, it's not about
a sorry
him.
state. This is a
It's
sorry
not.
state. It's a
Yeah.
sorry state. And
Yeah.
what kind of accountability is this? This is just lack of accountability at its best then. If this is escapism and lack of accountability, see, you got to front up. It's not like I'll take you guys back to what one of the football coaches in Arteta said a couple of days back. It's easy to love me when I'm getting you all the wins. Love me when I'm drawing and when I'm losing. It's that. It's exactly that over here.
No, we don't want
You
we don't want
cannot be
Arsenal
coming-
examples. Yeah, we don't want Arsenal examples. We don't want Indian team to finish like Arsenal.
want second place.
We want India to win the title. They still are in it. So
Whole point being, you cannot be just coming to just take all the glory. You cannot just be basking under the glory, and when the brickbats are headed for you, then you turn your back. It can't be like that.
But to be fair to Gautam, he used to come and front up when
Your vice captain should have come then.
No, I'm saying one of the players should have come. You've had a few performers also today, done decently well. Send one of them. We want to hear from the players. Or, actually, the right way is you actually get someone who's not been getting runs and let him come. I mean, what's the whole point of shielding, someone? Or someone, okay, send an Ishan Kishan, yeah. Let him talk about India's batting. He's been in good form. Otherwise, no one's going to attack him on his personal form. He can talk about it. India's batting in general. Send a Hardik Pandya, na? People love him here. He's been a captain as well. Can give you a perspective. It's okay. See, we want to know what is it that the Indian team tried? What is it that worked for them? What is it that didn't work for them?
This is it's annoying, and this is not done. It's just not done. It's escapism. I'm sorry, I have no other word at the moment. Because what else defines lack of accountability and escapism? Please tell me.
Welcome to
There
Indian
are
cricket.
questions to be asked. It's like I'm approaching the judges for some legal redressal, and the judge says, "Okay, adjourn, boss, bye bye." It just cooks up an excuse and doesn't show up. Which authority do I go to?
Tariq pe Tariq. Welcome to the Indian cricket team, my friend. Welcome to no accountability and escapism. That's how the Indian cricket scenery is. my friends.
Also to point out, we're talking about send the captain or vice captain. Our vice captain we ended up dropping to the bench for some reason today. Imagine sending him out to face the journalists today. My good
Vice
God.
captain we would have had, na.
You could have had a lot more to talk about, but then see, this is not dying away. And now, what you felt like it would be a picnic to Chennai is not going to be a picnic anymore. There'll be a lot of scrutiny on this Indian cricket team. And take Zimbabwe casually at your own risk, because if an Aiden Markram could trouble you, there they have two off spinners in Brian Bennett and Sikandar Raza. Now remember, Brian Bennett has played against India and he did bowl. I think it was to Abhishek Sharma, and he got him out for a 4-ball duck, by the way, in Harare in 2024. Sikandar Raza also will be like wondering, okay, now I think I don't need to bowl 1 over, I can bowl 2-3 overs. This is where you have to innovate, my friends. You have to innovate at this particular point in time. But whether we will become Panikistan, I don't know at this point. When we make those changes.
I want to ask a question to you, Siddharth. Since you're Mr. GPT for us over here. Are we really understanding things well as to how colossal this defeat is? Because I'm just looking at what lies ahead for the Indian team. Now you win. Now you need 2 wins out of 2. You're at minus 3.8. It will take a Herculean effort for you to turn things around, and hope there's a minor miracle somewhere over there. Because sure enough, you will have a scenario, if India are to go through, you will have to enter a scenario where there are 2 teams that are locked at 4 points.
See, Harshad, this is how the playoff and the Group 8 structure is, okay? Tomorrow, West Indies are taking on Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Now, assume West Indies win that. They get to 2.
Yes.
We are on 0 still, okay? We take on Zimbabwe on Thursday, but at the same time, West Indies take on South Africa. Now, if West Indies win 2 on the trot, and India only manages to win, and we also win against West Indies, South Africa's one last game is against Zimbabwe. And we all know the record that South Africa has against Zimbabwe in all formats. We are now...
After this win, South Africa's net run rate would have zoomed past another level.
Exactly, it may be plus 3.8 because it's minus 3.8 for India. It'll be plus 3.8 for South Africa.
I forget the net run rate. Yeah, you guys made a ad for South Africa, and you call them chokers, and they're eating on the cupcake and choking and whatnot. I hope you double down on that and you face up to it.
Nikhil, you have gone
with what
one
you
step
did.
further. Now everybody's broadcasting do or die versus Zimbabwe in Chennai. It's do or die now. And yes, see that that ad, whatever it was, it only highlighted. I don't know why we've stopped taking the host broadcaster seriously. It's for one reason. A host broadcaster of a particular nation, if they telecast all these events, they're supposed to be a beacon of something good. For example, when I look at Australia, Channel 9 used to be awesome. It was the benchmark of broadcasting. Sky Sports in England, that is the benchmark. And it remains even today the benchmark of broadcasting.
No,
For
they
every-
can't. They can't now. They can't. So the thing is, what has happened is, it's a reality. All the eyeballs have been taken by YouTube. All
Yes.
YouTubers like yourself, they've taken the eyeballs away. Now nobody's watching the broadcaster. So what is broadcaster saying? We have to do what YouTubers do. So they're trying to compete there. They have lost that. Nobody, when they do this sanitized program, nobody watches it. Their viewership is abysmal. The only way broadcasters survive is because they have live visual. People only go to them for live visual. Nobody listens to pre, mid, post, any programming. It's reached a stage where they're now getting comedians to come do shows for them. Why? Because they've lost the race. They're badly out. So then comes these kind of Instagrammable, funny reels that are made by content creators. Those have become promos. So they've lost that race long ago.
The funny part is, though, they're living in the maxim that any publicity is good publicity. But all I see on social media, and I think, let's face it, we're all avid social media users, I just see people clowning them. They're getting dunked on left, right, center for coming up with ads. Because I remember during the build-up to India-Pakistan, and then after the match, the one most common thing was people saying, "I'm so glad we don't have to watch this ad anymore."
Exactly.
Now? What now?
What now? So it is like a virus's statement, na? Life is a race, and you have managed to lose that race in more ways than one. The broadcasters have lost it entirely. They have lost it at this point. in
Big time.
So good. That's why I started the program, gents. When I said thank you that Ghaman toot gaya at the end of the day, because that ad was tasteless. I think the cupcake was more tasteful, but that ad was tasteless in more ways than one. So glad that South
How do you know
Africa showed us the
cupcake
mirror.
was tasteful? You got a bite of it, or?
I'm hoping all cupcakes are tasteful.
I trust that to have a bite of everything sweet.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Why did you have to choke on it, Shane?
That was a funny joke.
Oh, okay. Shane choked for no reason.
I was doing in India.
You did in India. Correct. So let's take some comments and then we can throw it to the gents who are there also at ground zero as well. So Danush is saying, Sky for T20 World Cup, only 2 great innings versus top teams, SA 2022 and England 24. If Rajat Patidar and Nitish Rana played 4 T20 World Cups, they also would have had these 2 innings.
I really doubt. This is being very unfair on Sky. Very, very unfair on Sky.
I mean, he just bailed you out against USA. Yaar. Now he's suddenly become the fall guy because he toe-ended Corbin Bosch to short mid-wicket.
Never mind the fact that every other batter failed.
Of course. Dube also, 42 of 37, but it was a lost cause. No one covered themselves in glory today. And Krishna Yaduvanshi is saying, okay, history will be kinder to Kohli and what he did for this nation still got criticized and do the change like this 9 out of 10 times. The approach, I think a Virat Kohli approach was needed today.
Can I set a cat amongst the pigeon? Ask you one question, all of you guys, now that you're talking about. Anyone thinking of a Shubman Gill?
No.
Not me.
No.
Okay, just asking. Okay, go ahead.
Shivam was thinking about Shreyas Iyer. I think that's fair.
Yeah, replace Tilak with Shreyas.
Interesting.
Better player of spin, for one.
Much more adept to changing his approach to conditions.
बात तो सही है. बात तो सही है बिल्कुल. Okay, Pawan Holla is saying, enough of this experiment, man. Leaving your vice captain on a crucial game, that too the person who played crucial innings in the final, much needed reality check. Nikhil
Couldn't
summed
agree
it up.
more.
Even if you're playing in Timbuktu, why would you drop Akshar Patel? Why? Your best match winner.
Yeah. Scroll down, Shivam.
Yeah, scroll down. Much needed reality check, indeed.
Rakesh Bhusham says in 15 you've only got one batsman and you feel he's not in best of form. Tilak and Abhishek are big failures. How long more with them till India is not eliminated? For me, it's an unbalanced 15 to start with. Yeah, but if you see, this is the thing. I know a lot of people are calling for this change and that change and make this change and make that change. If you do that before a must-win game, it shows you've panicked.
So you're not India then, you're Panikistan.
Yeah.
Okay, where was this same bunch of fans? Why were they waxing lyrical on Tilak about 4 months ago? When he helped you win the Asia Cup? Okay, attritional pitches, attritional thing, he won you the Asia Cup. Imagine the uproar and furor that would have happened if he had not done well against Pakistan. You had lost to Pakistan for crying out loud.
Oh God.
Okay, forget that. Abhishek agreed. 9 innings, 5 ducks. But look at the other 4, barring this one. He's had 50s or 100. What do you do then? Suddenly, how Abhishek and Tilak are considered failures suddenly after 4 months? This is the selectivism which is kind of hurting even our judgment on most occasions. It's a knee-jerk reaction.
See, I can understand wanting him to change his approach a little bit, considering it's a World Cup, which actually ties into what Rakesh says next. He says that Abhishek is trying to score runs or trying to get out, needs to settle in play with a straight bat. This is not a bilateral, it's a World Cup. Maybe give it its due importance. Tilak and India are needing 9.5, then why was he charging? See, fair. Playing the situation is something I criticize them for as well. I don't think you're playing the situation. But to suddenly call them useless or big failures, I think is a bit of an overreaction. Let's be fair.
I think it is. I mean, do you agree Tilak and Abhishek are big failures?
No, see, I tell you, I don't want to, climb onto the bandwagon and say everything is wrong with his Indian team. It's not. It's one loss. They've lost one game. But as we've discussed in the last hour and a half or so, is that certain signs were there that, it was there and India needed to fix that. They weren't fixing it. And because you didn't fix those issues, you've landed up here. And the problem now is that you could, as I said, India could still go and win the T20 World Cup. But what will happen now is that from a scenario where you were the top dog, you were the benchmark because nothing could go wrong and everyone was racking their brains as to how to deal with India. Now you're one amongst the 6, 7, 8 teams that's left. On a given day now we'll say X can win, Y can win. And then India has as much of a chance of winning as an England does or a South Africa or a New Zealand or whatever, right? So you've taken that advantage away. That's the difference. I'm not saying India can't win the World Cup. It's just one bad game. But what India has shown us in this World Cup, throughout the World Cup, and I'm not going to base it on just this one game. What it's shown us throughout this World Cup is that they are, beatable, that they aren't that far ahead of the competition as we had at one time imagined, that they aren't impregnable fortress. They're not that. They can be beaten. They have frailties. They have issues that they could have fixed. There is a bit of confusion. We can rely on that confusion and pounce on it. That's what the other teams know. And now you're in a level playing field with another 4 or 5 other teams, and you have an equal amount of chance of winning the title. That's where you are. It's not disaster, but it's not as smooth or relaxed sort of a situation that you were in at one point.
It is the orange light of caution that you are approaching now at this point. Go down, Shivam. Yeah. Vishal is saying from the US, 2 out of 3 top order batsmen struggling can't drop Abhishek. Tilak got 5 chances, including today, struggling post-surgery. Time for Sanju at 3, Tilak out.
Well, basis what Mr. Ryan Tendush Carter was saying, could be happening.
Could happen.
But I doubt.
But again,
I'll be very sure.
Okay, why will he be in conversation? Sanju and Chennai, make the connection. Make the connection, guys. You are wanting to keep him relevant because
since we're talking about Chennai, how come this news suddenly became breaking news that MS Dhoni is playing the IPL this season? That
news
is
broke
some
2.5
news I
months
remember
back.
because we reported it too.
Yeah.
That is some news that we had reported in November
November, yeah,
and
November
November
7th.
7th. Ah.
But a retained player, there is a confirmation of a retained player getting a confirmation he'll play in IPL 2026.
Wow. Unreal.
It's a bombshell. CSK CEO has dropped a bombshell announcement, guys. That MS Dhoni will play in IPL 2026.
So he'll play for a
He
league
had
that
said
he's
it
been
on
contracted
7th
for.
November, that confirmed, the same gentleman had confirmed on 7th November that he's playing 2026 IPL. But suddenly it became big. But why? I want to know, how did that happen?
Harshit, you should have an idea.
No,
No,
Siddharth,
Harshit won't
but I
have an
don't.
idea. It
Yeah,
didn't.
I know why he's saying that.
But it didn't emerge from Ahmedabad, so he won't know.
Yeah, it didn't emerge from Harshit, but then, okay. See, I
I
don't know
know,
why
I
this
got
news
it.
is doing the rounds, so honestly, and I've been saying it. MS Dhoni, you will see even this November 2026, he will play 2027 and he'll call it quits. IPL 2027 is his last.
I have given up trying to predict when he's calling it quits. I'm done. I've been calling it for 5 years and getting it wrong. I'm done.
2027, he'll value the contract. End. That's it. Over. So, I love conflicts from Canada saying India more a team of champions than champion team.
No reason you can't be both. That's all I'll say. No reason you can't be both.
Can be. Yeah, it's just one loss. Even in a dominant period, remember, you never clean swept an opponent, ever. Including Zimbabwe. You never clean swept them. So, Ram 1987-ish is saying, I think we need Rituraj who can play in any slot, play spin and slow pitch, and who won't slog all the balls and can maintain a strike rate of 150.
Rituraj is on the cusp. He's on the periphery. But to suddenly have tried to call him in now would have been a bit much.
इससे अच्छा है, see, you missed one guy. He's the prince of Ahmedabad. He was making runs for fun in Ahmedabad. You've not played him. That
Never
shows. And you're thinking about Rituraj, Ram.
But you had other Prince of Ahmedabad, na? Today you had Hardik Pandya, who at one point was the captain of Ahmedabad, took them to a title. You had Washington Sundar, who's the current Prince of Ahmedabad, who bats at number 3 or 4 for the franchise and gets runs. So there are enough Prince there, yeah.
Indeed, indeed. And Rakesh Bhushan again is saying, just go down a bit, Shivam. We can see that super chat. Yeah. Sky takes pressure too casually.
Presser.
Presser was. Damn. Sky takes the pressure too casually, he says. Abhishek Tilak can't be dropped. Okay. These are super.
Freudian slip.
Huh?
Freudian slip.
Freudian slip indeed. These are super 8 decisive decisions has to be taken at the right time. Even Sky Hardik performance is a big question mark.
Let's name a new squad, no? Then.
But Sky just did well 3 games ago.
And Hardik has done well maybe 2 games ago. Let's name a new squad, no? India, everyone. Everyone has side strengths. Chalo.
Yeah, everybody has that. Yep. Naveen Narayan is saying, India got spanked after nearly 2 years where England humbled us on the World Cup semi-final. Serious regrouping needed on the form of our batters. No one showed intention. This abysmal performance will bury the confidence. We haven't lost the cup yet.
Yeah, and also I don't think a lack of intent was the problem. A lack of game smarts was. Everyone was trying to hit. Everyone just missed.
Lack of execution. When you failed with the bat, when you failed on the field, at that point in time, your tactics were so wrong. It just went. Vishal from the US, 2 breaks in 20 overs needed. Is it for ads, right?
Of course.
Of course. It's all for the money, my friends. That's why you can group fix in an ICC event.
Yeah. Laghuvilan speaks.
No, Siddharth, I think that has also to do with the heat, I think.
Okay.
In Sri Lanka, that's what I read, that because it's a bit humid and all over there, you needed this extra break.
Okay. Interesting. But is it even warmer today, Harshit, in Ahmedabad?
It was 33, 34.
It is very warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laghuvilan speaks, says, I said before and will reiterate, India is not the same 2024 team. West Indies can beat India too. Batting has been below average since the World Cup started. Sorry, but it's not IPL/bilateral. I agree with the last line.
Agree.
It's not IPLs or bilaterals. You'll need to change your approach just a little bit. Rakesh Bhushan is back and says that, dear Nikhil, on a Pata wicket, Indians scored 220 on regular intervals and we bracketed them as favourites. on a World Cup platform, do you think they are short of experience and maturity, which reflected as none of the batters took it deep?
I completely agree with Rakesh, and that's exactly what I mentioned. Because we're all trying to figure out what is the reason for a team that would get 220, 30 all the time. Similar pitches, they would do it. It's not happening now. It's a combination of multiple factors. One, you didn't prepare for different sort of scenarios. Two, I agree, the lack of experience. And see, I know that many might misconstrue my statement, but I'll say it. I think let this be a lesson. Let this be a lesson that anyone who cribs about a Virat Kohli and a Rohit Sharma playing in the 2027 World Cup now, just put a finger on your lip, like your teacher says. Just do that. Just do that. Because you know what? I'll go back to something that MS Dhoni said very recently in one of the interactions he was doing. What did he say? He says, experience is not playing 10, 20, 30, 40 matches. Experience is playing 200 matches. 200 matches when you get the experience. Then you know exactly what to do at what situation. You've done it so many times. And if somebody has that experience, why do you want to let it go? And I'm not saying it based on what MS Dhoni said. I said it previously on Sports Today. We've been discussing that when that entire thing ROCO for 2027. I used to keep saying, if they are available to play, why don't you take it? T20, they opted out. They said, done. We've won. Time to move on. And you got the young players. And young players did very well. I also agree that was the right time for them to move on. And they did it the right time. But then that's what happens, no? The young team can come. Bilaterals is a different performance. ICC tournament, big tournaments. That is what is experience all about, yeah? That is what, things you do. Like, for example, in our field, if you go to cover a game, and then if you have experience, you will carry your earpods. But if you don't, you will not carry your earpods to do live. It's just as simple as that. So those things can happen. It happens in cricket as well. When you're playing ICC trophy or when you're playing regular series, right? So these are things, I mean, just getting back to the point.
I think Shane's reading out the next few comments now. So that's that.
I'm in a mental coma now. After Mr. Salahuddin's comments, 2 or 3 players are in a mental coma at this point in time. But okay,
We're wrapping up.
Yeah, Sridhar Savakar says that for all the hype of the best T20 batter, when has Sky won big games for India in the World Cup? Someone had asked, is Sky better than VK last week? I think we've got an answer today. Virat stepped up and won such games every day for you. Well, not every day, but a lot of days.
a lot of days, and yeah, Sky never has won a World Cup game for us. When? He has 50s, but he's never won you a game. He did well against South Africa in Perth, but he didn't
lost
win
that game. You
And
did well against England in 2022.
USA.
Lost that game.
USA. That's the one World Cup game he won. Recently.
He was aura farming.
He hasn't done it on a regular basis. That I agree totally at that point.
You've got Umanch who says, and I think, wow, rare person who's saying this. Sir, let's be patient. We lost to one of the best teams in the World Cup, but we can't have 2 out-of-form players in the top 3. Sanju in for Tilak or Abhishek.
I'm telling you, the trend has picked up, and in Chennai it is going to be, why is this trend going to peak there? Because Sanju, Chennai, make your own connections. Okay.
Scroll down. Naveen Narayan said if it's not for Bumrah and Arshdeep, the loss margin would have been catastrophic. I'm shell-shocked with this performance. No batter has the big stage temperament. Yeah, that's one thing which... Fair.
Rafael Gautam was like saying, revenge completed for 2024. Real test begins for Team India. Won't be surprised if India doesn't make it through the semis. West Indies will back themselves. Now, what do you think?
But I will say that the mood has dropped rather quickly. Very quickly.
I mean, has the mood... but Harshad had a very contrasting 180-degree picture. They said they're still optimistic about it.
Yeah, but
are you worried?
Of course I'm worried. Also at that time when you reiterate what I said, I was quoting the fans.
Yeah.
I was quoting the fans at that time. However, my sense, because we've touched upon the weak links of this Indian team as well in the build-up to our, the time that we were building up and during our coverage to this World Cup. And I must say, this big defeat, it's a very, very big defeat. And those cracks that you saw, that was somewhat being tapered at that point, I think they've opened up in a very, very stark manner. and I'm worried.
You are
Does
worried.
that mean I'm going to make changes? Perhaps not, because that becomes an admission. It becomes an open admission that I'm worried, and then I'm bringing in a Sanju Samson to replace Abhishek Sharma or a Tilak. I don't think I'm going to be doing that. But one thing I'm definitely doing is playing my right 11. Today was not that day. Akshar Patel features in my best 11. There is no reason why you should not be playing an Akshar Patel. So if India play the right team, I think you can still win. But now you've just made things very difficult for yourself, because you will now need to be looking at every game now. You will need a South Africa or a West Indies to slip up or pop up a big defeat. Otherwise, India are in trouble.
They are. So Rookie Techie is saying, why SA is getting all the benefits in this World Cup by playing all matches in Ahmedabad, including Super 8s, group games and final if they qualify?
Interesting.
Luck of the draw. But
yeah.
India also had the same benefit. You sow what you reap, or you reap what you sow, whatever way
other
you
way
want to
around.
look at it.
Yeah.
Whatever way you look at it. Naveen Narayan saying Sundar Pichai will regret choosing this match. Of course he will.
Less chat about that, the better.
Yep.
Sridhar Savarkar says, felt like we're trying to chase this only in sixes. Whoever strike rotation, partnership or game awareness, target was 188, not 288 for God's sake. Couldn't agree more.
Agree.
Rookie Techie once again says, Thursday's game will decide India's fate. If South Africa lose to West Indies, strategic plan of South Africa to eliminate India, India will be eliminated. No, they
if
still have to win
thrash
2
the
games.
West
Yeah.
Indies,
Yeah.
what will happen then?
It's just so easy to make this prediction now, but I doubt it's going to be that simple, guys.
So Khan from the US is saying, I already told 15 days ago that the team is full of cocky and arrogant players. I live in the US and never have US Olympic team told that we are the Giants, but still they finish top 1-2 in podium. That's the difference here.
That's a whole different story. Scroll further down.
Last couple of comments we'll just take and then.
Dhanush again says India chased 150 plus 3 times in T20 World Cups and Virat was the player of those in those matches. Flat track IPL sloggers faced only in bilaterals and IPL league matches. Amir spoke the truth on Abhishek. I don't think that's an entirely fair assessment, but I do think
so far he's proving that yes, his
but
statement was a bit true.
But I do think this team needs to find another gear.
They do. Again, Rookie Techie, guys, Indian team is way ahead in terms of talent but cannot handle pressure of World Cup and big matches. Rocco was the reason why he won CT and World Cup 24, but again, it took Rocco 12 years.
Exactly.
11 years rather, not 12, 11 years. They couldn't get there, so that's why that's the problem.
Sarthak Arya says, humble yourself before life humbles you. Arrogance on the field, arrogance during the press conference. Stay humble, eh?
Yep, indeed.
Scroll down. Couple more comments I think we've got.
Yeah.
Praneet says, let's be fair, too many lefties at the top. Plus, when was the last time we chased 180 odd? We're batting first side now. At the end, it was a bad day.
Indeed.
I agree. Sarthak Arya once again says, if I was Shukri Conrad, I'd be resting key players in the third match if I win the second one. Then ensure we lose the third with a small margin.
Nothing.
No one is going to be trying to do that.
I wouldn't. I'll just keep playing my best team.
Exactly. Why do you want to lose momentum?
Although since Shukri's name has just popped up, the grovel word also I am reminded of.
Well, that will also be there. Yep. More of the grovel thing.
Sridhar Savarkar says, I knew the result when I saw Temba in the com box. Oh God. Lord Temba indeed. Ashish Dhar says, whatever the situation, play your best team. Akshar should have played. Indian team, especially GG, has gotten spooked. This Indian team will not make it to the semi-finals.
But
God,
why get in GG again?
But then GG, let's be fair. We know what the power center of the team is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Scroll down. I think last comment we've got, is it? Or second last comment?
No.
Okay, there's a fair few more. Good God.
My goodness. Sarthak Arya, I agree. Broadcasters are cliched. I only listen to them when Nasir Hussain is there. There is a shot of an emperor is way above. Kohli goes down the ground. Kohli goes out of the ground. For me, YK. True.
Ashish Dhar says the broadcasters are cheap, no presentation, no dressing sense clothes, dependent on VK and Sky for TRP, bar T22 MCG. Yeah.
As I said, our broadcasters, we have got nothing to be proud of them at this point.
And Ashish also adds the success in bilaterals, no measure for ICC success. Trust me, as Indian fans, we remember.
For 11 years, that was the thing. We were bilateral giants, but not ICC.
Dheeraj Salyan sent some love. Love back for you.
Vijay Arum from the US. Ahmedabad is cursed. No Shreyas / dance on pitch.
Come on, yeah. Naveen Narayan says, our batter's performance was horrible from the start. We just sailed in minnows inexperience, now struggling because these are real teams. 5 matches, consistently out of form. Don't support this team blindly. Noted, my friend. Before we call it quits, yes, we have the Shivam Giri, and good God.
That's why. But same, because there is a lot of outrage. That's the thing.
Virat Kohli used to take singles and doubles in the last World Cup. They called me a madman.
Because he won that. He was just one
If he had
catch
to
away.
lose, he had to lose, then they'd be saying, "Oh, why was he not done away with beforehand?"
One catch.
Fickle.
Indeed. Go
Next.
further. That's Iron Man, right? That's
That's Thanos, if I'm not
Thanos,
mistaken.
okay.
Yeah, that's Thanos.
Thanos.
He says you only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Arey, come on, yaar. Everyone criticized Kohli also. Now when the timing is convenient, to thali ka bangan ban rahe ho, sab.
Right.
Come on.
That's why Indian fans down
Yeah.
in that sense.
Silly Point says didn't look like Abhishek at all. Wasn't floating like Abhishek. Didn't sting like Abhishek either. Float like
As
a
I
butterfly, sting like a bee.
14 of 3 and 1 of 8.
Yeah.
That's how it was bad.
Bad indeed.
Dots
Next.
8 indeed.
In 2024 T20 World Cup final against South Africa, Akshar scored 47 while saving a collapse, and in bowling broke the partnership between Stubbs and de Kock. How can someone drop him against South Africa? That too for Washington, Sundar.
But again, Akshar Patel was clobbered by Heinrich.
Again,
Klaasen.
hindsight is a funny thing.
Very funny.
People
thing,
tend to
indeed.
forget that now because you won, but he got clobbered by Klaasen.
Yes, he did. Multiple choice questions we like.
Aye,
Faulkner,
yaar.
Mitchell, Head, Jansen. Lovely.
Oh God.
Lovely,
Next.
lovely. There's oil beneath the stadium. Oh, they want the stadium to be dug up. Why?
Ooh, that's a very risky meme. Very risky meme.
risky.
Yeah.
Oh God. Abhishek Sharma in this World Cup, 4 matches, 3 ducks, 15 runs. Sanju Samson in this World Cup, 1 match, 22. He will bounce back. He's in bad form.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah,
oh
you
dear.
can't escape the dichotomy, my friends.
You can't. That's the reality.
Yeah.
But Abhishek did also give you a lot more consistency than Sanju. Let's be real.
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
Next. The insane run of Team India after 19th November in ICC events has finally come to an end. Right? It had to end at some point.
Karma. It started in Ahmedabad, ended in Ahmedabad. Look at the cycle of life, my friend. That's how it is. That is the way. Just because he failed in every ICC tournament finals and big matches doesn't mean he's a bad player. Ask Hong Kong, USA, Netherlands and Namibia. Again, Suryakumar Yadav, he's not going to make himself any favors by this kind of a performance. Whenever you think you're bigger than the game, it always finds a way to humble you. Cricket is the greatest level.
Yeah, this 300 thing can now just please go.
Rest in peace.
RIP.
Please. And so is all the other tasteless ads that you made.
Well, less said the better.
Less said about it, the better. Yeah. South Africans watching this ad. Hey, joking. We'll repeat the history of 24. We'll defeat the Proteas again. Acha. Good. That's why I wanted these kind of ads to be shut. I'm glad that they won in more ways than one. Go ahead. Morne Morkel after South Africa defeated India. Albies
emerged as the winner of the Morkel Derby.
Yes, it is. It is.
Next.
Indeed. Akshay Kumar. Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma promoting Akshar Patel up the order after the collapse in World Cup Final 2024. Experimentation.
Next level. This is a Breaking Bad meme.
Breaking Bad, yeah.
Next. Me watching yellow jersey team defeat India in World Cup at Ahmedabad Stadium.
Yeah, but they are not totally yellow, yaar.
They're green and yellow.
Green, exactly. Zimbabwe waiting for India the next time. Is this Maji? No.
No, that's Nawazuddin Siddiqui.
I know, but which movie is it?
I don't remember which one.
अच्छा could be. गुजरात में बापू को ड्रॉप किया गलती की है. Good face
That's a
morph.
good sway
bro.
swath. Yeah.
Good face morph. India's NRR after this match. हम आपके कौन?
Gone.
Seeking away to glory. Now you've slid down. Good one. Ahmedabad crowd be like, हमने तो लगता है साइलेंट होने के लिए ही जन्म लिया है. भीष्म.
Oh God.
भीष्म पितामह. वैसे तो हम बड़े सख्त हैं पर अहमदाबाद में पिघल जाते हैं. India's last 2 defeats in ICC tournaments have come at Ahmedabad.
Oh God!
सबसे बड़ा पनौती तो तू ही from Hera Fairy 2.
Yes.
Akshay Kumar, and that is Paresh Rawal.
And Wankhede Stadium telling.
Wankhede is any of the semi-finals at Wankhede. Yeah?
Oh, fingers crossed that works well.
Yeah, becoming India's vice captain is a hidden curse.
Oh, that it is. Ask KL Rahul.
KL Rahul.
Ask Hardik Pandya.
Yes, vice captain is a poison chalice.
Yeah, no one wants that.
Yeah, Shubman Gill.
Shubman Gill.
Yes.
Mr. Pichai is related to both of India's spin all-rounders. He's Sundar and the CEO of Alphabet.
Akshar. A good one. That's a good
yaar.
one. I think that meme of the day. It is. Yuvraj Singh meeting Abhishek Sharma. Beta, tumse na ho paya. Again.
Very unfair.
Very unfair. If he does well in the next 2 games, what do you do then? Selfless. Not once, not twice, but Rohit Sharma has reached ICC finals 3 times unbeaten.
अरे ठीक है यार वो नहीं है ना अब वो he's not there. Let it be now.
Has reached ICC finals 3 times unbeaten.
23 also was unbeaten. 24 and 25.
25, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
True
Anyway, it's been a nice long live stream. Hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you guys.
Indeed, indeed. It's been a very long night, but yes, the repercussions had to be there because of what happened. So, yep, today this match is done. First game of the Super 8s. It was England winning, South Africa winning. And tomorrow it is going to be West Indies versus Zimbabwe.
Oh, Dheeraj has actually sent his comment and we'll take that before calling it quits. Says India have been lucky right from the start of the tournament except against Pakistan. Sanju instead of Tilak. Akshar cannot be benched. Akshar part I agree wholeheartedly.
Sanju, I'm telling
it's
you.
50-50.
It's going to be a crescendo.
But Akshar boss, simple. You need to not bench him.
Exactly. So, thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this
long live.
We'll be back with more updates. And from Nikhil, me, Shane, and Harshit, who's in Ahmedabad. Tata, bye bye. See you soon.
Bye.